Ciao. Let's talk about Baddies South. I think this is episode 3. Don't be asking me why I got my shades on in the house. Making my little homemade Jägermeister, Moscato, and Honey Jack. Anyway, I'm gonna make this quick and short because this review is not the first episode; it's the 3rd episode. Let me turn this fan off. And I'm not even gonna go in order, okay? I think if I talk about each character, I'll remember what their storyline was. And I mean, the saying goes, if you haven't met somebody, you can't just talk about how much you dislike them. And we know editing, they're only gonna show, the most controversial parts of said person, or only the negative stuff of said person. And maybe they could be sweet, or maybe they could be, I don't know, but for now, I can only base my opinion based on these said parts they are showing it. And it's fucking annoying. She is bleeping annoying. I know I can't curse too much because they're going to edit it out when I upload the video. She's so thirsty. She's so corny. I can't. Ooh, child, I can't. It just, this persona she's on here, maybe she is an OnlyFans. Maybe that part of her is she's very brave and confident and showing her sexual side on OnlyFans. That's fine. That could just mean you're bold in your sexuality part of your persona, but the rest of you could be corny as crap. And it just seems so forced. It just doesn't seem natural to me. Everyone else has this natural, believable vibe about them on the screen, and it just seems so forced. Like she's just trying so hard. There's a way to be a blunt person and you don't back down, all that. There's just a way to do it where it's just a swag. It's just part of you. It's about you. And hers seems so forced. And the more force she does, the more corny it is. And the fact you want to be this person that you're more bark than bite, but really you're more bite than bark, but you're more bark. Bitch, I don't know what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I very much dislike Anne, and she needs to go. I'm sure she want to be there to incite the drama or build the drama, or like she said, oh, it's so corny, we're baddies. The definition of baddies does not necessarily mean you have to fight or that you got paws or whatever. Definition of baddie is being beautiful inside and outside and taking care of your business, bringing something to the table to show influence, to represent other women. Even though we're all there individually represent yourselves, but because you're on TV, you're kind of taking a responsibility to represent yourself, to represent other women also. Whether it's your age, other age, younger than you, whatever it is. And I don't know. You're a trash girl. You're so annoying. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go in order. We got the scene of... we already seen the trailer before this episode that she was going to get into a fight with Rolly. And it's funny how they edited it, where they have it like in the beginning, they have a little conversations and like, oh, I love, Rolly's like, oh, I love Anne, she's very sweet and I hope I can continue to like her and she's fan. That's how they get you. They smart. Even though the editing of Zeus is very trash because there's a lot of stuff they could cut out for time reasons and because it's uninteresting, and a lot of other probably parts they could have put in within the episode. Like I was on Twitter. I'm mainly on Twitter with this episode with all of Baddies, but I'm like, let me make a video and get back into doing reactions and reviews. Because I used to do it with Insecure. And I believe I used to do it with, damn it, what's the name of that show? With Being Mary Jane. And then I fell off and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just at this time we're very inconsistent with certain things. But anyway, we'll see how this goes. I'm just going with the flow. If I'll continue with all the reviews, I'll do that. If not, then whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, so I like how they edited it in the beginning and another part of the conversation where it's like, oh, I like her, she's so cool, I love her vibe, blah, blah. And then boom, we get this end episode where they're arguing. Well, of course, they didn't show us the scene of how they got to the argument. Yes, Rolly explained it in the confessional. She was trying to say that the argument started because Rolly called Bree. She wanted to talk to Bree about something, but she was in Rolly's room, and Rolly's room is next to and Rock's room. So Anne took it to the left and assumed ops, like she said in the confessional, ops are, and I watched Bad Girls and people throwing people stuff. First of all, Bad Girls was how many years ago? And I'm sure other reality shows where all castmates are in the house together, they've learned from that mistake because they got heavily sued from those twins when their property got severely damaged. They got sued so bad that the whole reality series got cut off. So yeah, I'm gonna assume every other reality show after that, where they having castmates in the house, they're not gonna be letting people touch anybody's property because they don't want to lose money. So don't be talking about Bad Girls, which is over like 10 years ago, whatever the timing is. I was definitely a heavy Bad Girls fan. But then I fell off after a couple of seasons because it just became repetitive. And I could tell they purposely were casting certain personality types. You could tell when certain storylines were being forced, and it just got horrible after that. It just wasn't natural. It wasn't natural. You could just feel it. If you've been watching a show or a series for a long time, especially from the beginning, you start to see the chemistry fall off, and it's not as well put together as it was. So yeah, I just stopped. Like, I'll be heavily fan for a show for a minute, but then my energy is so sensitive to certain things, whether it's real life or just TV, where I can tell like, yeah, now they're trying too hard, and now they're just assuming what the fans want and just forcing certain things like violence and fighting and stuff, and it be over stupid petty shit that don't make no sense. So come on, think, Ann. Like, you're drunk. That's another thing. She's using liquor to make herself so-called confident, like she's saying, make stuff interesting. Like, no, you can make the show interesting by being yourself, and obviously you don't know yourself. You keep pushing on OnlyFans. Okay, you're making so much money. That's great. That's great. What else is going on with you? All right, I don't want to make this whole episode about Ann. I hope this video is as short as possible. I'll also, matter of fact, you know what? It is episode 3. Like I said, it's going to be a brief review, brief reaction. Let me try to plug in a little bit about episode 2 and 1. I think this is episode 3. What is episode 2? I don't know. Let me see. The rest of Ann's storyline. She also had a fight with Persuasion last episode. Corny as hell. You have an issue with Bree, a made-up issue, just because Bree took it upon herself to not tell you all her business. So, you took it personally or whatever. I mean, y'all all meeting on the bus. Okay, yes, it's a show, I guess, to get to the nitty gritty. Certain things you don't have to drag out, but at the same time, let someone's story be unfolded by them, not by you. Doesn't necessarily mean somebody's hiding what they're doing in their life, or they're not proud of, they're not doing. You don't know why they're not saying it. So give them time in their time. Like Bree said, in her time, that's why she's on the show. In her time, she will share her story. Don't be mad. She doesn't know you. She don't know you from a can of paint. It's the first episode. It's the first bus ride. Allow her to get to know you. Allow her to get to know her surroundings and get to know the show. So when she's ready to divulge her story, what she's been through, her history, let her do it. Okay? I know the rest of the castmates were like, oh, you being a punk, you need to check her, blah, blah, blah. I don't think she was being a punk by not jumping down her throat because, she tried to call her out. How is it calling her out? If I don't want to talk about something, I don't care how much you rah into me, whether it's on camera or off camera, I don't need to say nothing to you. And it's a shame that other views see you as a punk because you don't want to answer certain questions. Like, that's the problem with society. We have to remember and accept that we are all different. We're all going to approach every situation differently. It should not translate automatically that, that means you're a punk, letting somebody punk you. No. I know I'm not a punk. If I got hands, I got hands. If I don't want to talk about my business, I have the right to not talk about my business. Okay? Yes, there was a scene where Natalie and Jayla tried to tell, yeah, I understand you definitely have the right to talk about your information when you want to, but don't let somebody call you out, check them right then and there. Not everything has to be addressed. I feel like if you're a person that you want to pick and choose your battles, you're allowed to do that. You don't have to go hard and curse somebody else every single time. That shit eventually is very draining. It's very vampire energy sucking. I'm not going to freaking address some people don't deserve for you to be going off for them. You're showing them that they're ticking you off to the point where you're coming out your character. People do not deserve that. No one deserves that. When you're ready to show that side of you and somebody really needs to be put in their place, you can choose when to do that. Otherwise, other people you just walk away from. I ain't got time for you. You want to see me as a punk. That's your definition. I define myself. You don't define me. So I was totally 100 on Bree's side for that from episode 1 to 9. And I didn't really watch Bree's season when she was on Bad Girls. Like I said, I had fell off from it. I can't remember which season I fell off from, but I just know a little bit about that season. But from the clips that I have seen, I mean, she seemed like she always held her own. And just from a little bit of, she was talking about when she said, she's been through trafficking and sex trafficking and all other stuff. I definitely want to hear more of that story when she's ready to talk about it. When the episode is about her, I'm definitely interested in finding out, how she went through it, how she overcame it, and all that. Okay, Natalie, why she insists to be a part of these episodes, I have no idea. You can still executive produce and just lay in a cut. I'm sure she feels, obviously you're going to get a check either way. You're help producing the show. You're going to get a check either way. She still wants her camera time, okay. Or maybe she feels she has to direct certain conversations a certain way, give the people what they want, blah, blah. But all these females that are on here have reality show experience. So I'm sure they know what to do. Some of them know how to automatically bring the drama. Some of them know how to build up to it. And it's enough different personalities to generate conversation, to incite drama, and just let them do what they do. Like, you don't have to be there. And I only say that because of the second episode when she allowed Sarah to come on the show. So her and Sarah had this little beef from their season of Baddies, the first season. And again, the same thing she's doing with Jayla right now, being all besties. She did the same thing with Sarah on the first season of Baddies. And towards the end, they fell off. Like, I've seen many reviews on Natalie, many opinions about that. She's a businesswoman, and most of her relationships she see as business. She will use you as a friend to whatever, incorporate within her show or within her ideas to produce a show. And then when she's done with you, poof, cutting you off, cut it out, like she's done. So Sarah took that very personally and made all these funeral episodes on YouTube and bashed her to all her business out, put recordings of like their conversations, even though the conversations were one-sided. She only brought out Natalie's part of the conversations when you can't really conversate on your own when you're on the phone with someone else. Even though they are very narcissistic people that will have whole, full conversations by themselves. They don't give a damn if you're retaining the information, if you're giving feedback or nothing, but I'm sure Sarah had her little two cents. She said her and Natalie were so close. So I'm sure a lot of stuff she probably agreed with Natalie or probably asked her certain things to incite certain reactions, certain responses. And now you're going to, I didn't really hear the recordings. I just read stuff about them. But I definitely seen a common trend that she showed one-sided conversations, and she was just exposing Natalie and stuff that she was saying, but not saying what she said. Whatever. And mind you, Sarah didn't show up to the reunion for the first Baddies. So it's like, why are you bringing her back on this show? And that's what makes you very skeptical on, okay, is this a setup? Did y'all plan this? Is she just popping up? You didn't show up for the reunion of the show that you were on. I'm talking about Sarah. But now Natalie has her own show separate, but you want to pop up on an episode of here. If you want to resolve an issue, but now you want to be strategic and resolve it on the show. I need to know, did she get a check? Like, Natalie is help producing the show. So it's like, if you so-called had this huge beef with Sarah, and if anything, y'all could have did a scene of the conversation. If y'all really want to resolve something, why are you coming on Sarah's show? But why are you coming on Natalie's show? But Sarah... I get it. You feel very close to someone, and you want them to hurt the way you hurt and stuff like that. But it's just how you go about it is very weird. So it makes it look like it's very much a setup. Like maybe they're already cool, maybe they're already made up, and now they're using this as publicity. And we both get a check. Yeah, let's talk about it on the show. And the whole thing seemed very fake, because you came on the show for no reason. This could have been side conversations, or like I said, the separate show up conversation, or you could have showed up on the reunions with your receipts and talked it out then. So, child, anything for a check. And of course, they had got into it, a little scuffle. Natalie ain't do nothing, which makes me also think it was a setup. Because it was like, there was a scene where Sarah was sitting on a chair. Natalie ran up to her. They both were standing up. Natalie ran or whatever. Of course, her body weight pushed Sarah and the couch over. But no punches hit. Like, the security barely made it in between you two. So y'all both were right here, and Natalie got no hit. Like, Sarah was purposely not hitting back at all. There's a lot of comments about that Sarah can't fight. Sarah can fight, but this was her friend, and obviously her intention is to resolve this issue, and so she didn't want to fight Sarah. So I get it. She kept her hands, but this is like a scene of Black Ink Crew in her earlier episodes when Donna and Sky got into it, and Sky was hitting at Donna can fight, but again, because she loved Sky and knew that she was going through something, she didn't hit her back. Like, she came at her and Donna put her in a headlock, a mean, strong headlock. I'm sorry, I'm going off course. Put her in a mean, strong headlock and didn't hit her back, which I get that. That's your friend. She's going over the top. You want to forgive her and all that crap. So I really think that's what was going on. But anyway, like I said, just the fact that when Natalie was on top of her, she was holding her legs like this. Holding her legs. So now the rest of her body is in her face and she still was missing. She still was missing. I shouldn't be talking. You know, I'm up there in age and I haven't had a fight since I was 3rd grade. But as a viewer and looking, the math ain't mathing how you didn't get no hits. And she's right there in your face. Security did not come in between y'all or pull y'all apart. Setup. It's a fucking setup. It's a setup and you can't fight. Or you purposely didn't hit her because you guys are cool and just for the camera angles to make it seem like, oh, you got her. Girl, you ain't do nothing. All right, let's move on. Rock. I didn't know much about Rock before this show started. I barely know anything about Blueface. It's just not my era. You know, I'm old school, 90s, 2000s, whatever. I'm familiar with certain artists because of the Shade Room. But beyond that, I didn't really know anything about her. And she's very feisty. You know, I thought maybe something was a little off with her too. Just a little bit, like actually off, not on some funny crap. Same thing Jayla said. Maybe something's like actually off about her, just the way she talked and the way she could flip. But at the same time, she is also young and very, like, you know, fiery with her temper and putting people in check and just, you know, she reacts automatically. She doesn't want to talk about things, and she's not a good talker. She admitted that. Some people aren't good talkers. Some people can't. They don't know how to, you know, resolve issues just by words or expressing themselves vocally. They need to get physical. I don't know why they need it. It could be their background, how they grew up and stuff like that, the environment that they're currently in. I mean, look, she has Blueface as a boyfriend. I don't always hear good things about Blueface, whether his music does do well. So I think she was on a reality show that he had where she was fighting other girls too. So that same trait she's bringing on this show. So she had it, but I was on her side since episode 1 because her and Persuasion got into it too. They had 2 fights because Persuasion, you know, automatically saying she didn't like her and that she's messy and so she's messy. And when I say messy, I mean like dirty, like she doesn't pick up after herself. But I'm like, yeah, they didn't even move into the house yet. They legit just met and was on a bus ride to the house, and she was already starting the conversation that the girl was messy. So Rock didn't like that, confronted her. They fought. In my opinion, she did sneak her the first time because I feel like Sway can fight, but I feel like her growing from her season, you know, maybe she feels she just wants to talk things out. But if it gets to the fighting point, allow it to get there naturally. Like, try to talk. I feel like she wanted to try to talk. She wanted to be honest about what she said, and she wanted to try to talk. She automatically wanted to fight. But if it's time to fight, she'll fight. So I feel like that situation, she snuck her because she, you know, whatever was on the sink thing, fell in the sink. But then the second time, it was toe-to-toe, and it was really fast. Okay, yeah, Rock kind of got her or whatever. But anyway, okay. Who else? Jayla's been keeping it really low-key. She's been real chill since the first day. But you feel her presence. You know, it's there. I just feel like she's been real chill. She speaks when she's supposed to speak. You know, she's cool with Natalie. Now I know they're not cool, but she's cool with Natalie now. I mean, she's not cool with Natalie anymore, but I'm assuming during this show, maybe they'll show us what happened. Because again, it's another relationship of Natalie that they say, you know, she makes it look like it's a friendship. She's going to use you for as much time as she can use you, but it's really all for a show or a show that she's producing or whatever business idea she has. So, okay, Rolly and Slim are from Chance of Love. I automatically like Slim on her show, and I liked Rolly. They're both funny. Slim, I love that she's kind of one of those don't be fooled by what's the phrase? Don't be first impression, something like when you look at her, because she's small or whatever, you assume like, you know, she has no authority of her own or she won't speak up or whatever, but she's tough and she's rough. She just happened to be thin, but she holds her own, whether she could fight or not fight. She holds her own. She's very vocal. She's confident too. I like her. I liked her from episode 1. She didn't stay on Chance of Love long, but I like her. Rolly is hilarious. Rolly also holds her own for it, and she represents them big confident girls. And she was on here too. This episode, her and Ann got into it because Ann is whack. So Ann's getting into it anybody. And I saw a sneak peek that her and Jayla are going to be into. Ann's just horrible. and it's horrible. And gonna go have a fight with, she also had a fight with Sway because of her issue with Bree. And then, okay, of course she got beat up. She gonna say everybody's corny, but then on the bus ride to Charlotte, she goes to sleep. Girl, bye. So when they get to the new place, her and Rock share a room, and Rock is talking about, you know, how Sway was being fake with her apology or whatever, and making it by herself. She started talking about her possibly having cervical cancer. Okay, and then Sway was basically pouring out her soul on the bus. And I feel like, okay, there are people who are like that. When it's time to apologize, they make things, they could turn it about themselves. So to you, it might come off they're not being genuine. But I feel like, for me, it's like a rock and a hard place, because there are people who are like that, play victim. But then there are people who are really going through something really, really deep, and they don't know how to express themselves, and they can lash out at the wrong people, or they use the smallest situation and make it bigger than what it is because they don't want to confront what they're actually going through. And I don't know Rock, but I don't know Sway. Obviously, I don't know any of them. But from this scene, the way she was crying so hard, or she could have had practice. If you're someone who always plays victim, of course, you're naturally going to cry with everything. But I'm just going to take the moment for what it is. And I just felt like maybe she really was going through something. And yeah, she was being petty and immature, coming at Rock about being messy and a slob, and you barely even know her. But at the same time, too, we can't not dismiss the fact that she blurted out she messed with Blueface. So you brought her man in this situation. So I feel like if you really did sleep with Blueface, then I kind of blame Blueface, because men do pillow talk themselves. So Blueface could have been pillow talking to Sway, giving information about Rock. And now, so she already had an impression of Rock going in. And now they're in this house together. And she already she already had this vibe about her. She don't like her because of information of someone else that told you. Instead of you going out and finding out yourself how this person's energy and vibe is, you took it upon yourself to believe, a third party. So that's already kind of contaminated your mind. You allowed it to contaminate your mind. So I think it's part that too. It's part that too. Maybe she is a slob. I don't know. But whatever. They had their little tiff. So when she got in the bus, she tried to apologize. Rock didn't take it seriously. But it was crazy how the scene went, because she's apologizing, then she's crying. And even Rock cried for a little bit, trying to say everybody go through anything. But the way she cried, and when Sway started crying and talked about her possibly having cervical cancer, how her mind thought she going to have a hysterectomy in her, which is real. When you hit your 30s, biologically, they always talking about women are more sensitive and susceptible of all these cancers and stuff like that, and things that can affect your ovaries. That's really serious. Yes, okay, you have to do your normal pap smears, and it came back abnormal. It could have been anything. It could have been just a regular yeast infection or whatever, but you don't know that possibility of waiting. It could be one of those things that one time when you're thinking you're always healthy, and then that one abnormal pap smear could be something completely horrible. Yes, not everybody will automatically think cancer, but then there's people that will think all the way to the left and think about the worst of the worst. So we really can't belittle people who get in those mindsets and get in those feelings where they think the worst. That's their right to feel that in that moment. I understand the other side of it, where it might have looked like she was playing a victim and she was taking this apology and it wasn't genuine, because the apology moment didn't last long enough for her to already flip it and make it about herself and talk about the cancer thing. So, but I don't know. I'm seeing both sides of it. So I don't know which one to look at her as, a victim, or she was really going something and she just expressed it the wrong way. Either way, she still did apologize. But I thought it wasn't cool that Rock just got up and just walked away from that serious, deep-ass conversation about hysterectomy and cervical cancer and getting a uterus out. And Jayla was saying that too, and Jayla got up and left. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? We are all women. She's talking about something that could affect any one of y'all. How can y'all just get up and just leave her by herself while she's deeply crying and pouring her heart out on camera about something, whether she's playing a victim or not? That subject alone should keep you there and show us as women watching the show that we can support each other, because that affects all of us. Any one of us could have a hysterectomy. Any one of us could get cervical cancer. Any one of us would have some type of cancer within our bodies as females, and delay or make it more dangerous for us to have kids in the future, or just make us not feel like women. Why would you get up? And then all of a sudden, it's so funny how the edit then shows everybody automatically, besides Natalie staying there and Bree, the rest of them were gone. They were on the other side of the bus. Then all of a sudden, they all walked back. So I'm sure the producers told them, go walk your asses back. But this is a serious conversation. Show unity. The fact that I know producers had to tell them to do that. That's really sad. That they had to tell y'all women to show unity on the show. This girl is pouring out her soul. Like, there's little tears, and then there's like tears. You can see her coming from the depth of her soul. And it's really sad that they all just left like that. Even if you're a type of person, you don't know what to say within the moment, still be there. Still be there. It's just the presence sometimes. Just be there. Just be there. It was really sad and really disgusting that happened. It was really sad. Who else? We're at 25 minutes. I'm about to cut this off. I'm not even going to edit anything. What else? Okay, got Slim, got Rolly. We got Bree, Natalie, Sway, Rock, and I think that's everybody. And the next episode, they're showing some other girl from the South that's supposed to be coming along or whatever. And we show, Rock is not really too keen about this girl coming in. Like, I know it's like, well, obviously she's mini Natalie. Because Natalie came on her Bad Boys season and said, I run LA. So here she comes saying, I run the South. I mean, everyone's a little bit of everybody else. You got to be trained to be on reality TV. Even though it's supposed to be reality TV, but they still freaking train you. They still train you. All right, that's that. Again, that was Baddies. I believe it was episode 3. Going to finish my little at-home Jägermeister here, which I know it's supposed to be one shot, but I'm taking my time. I do have work in the morning. Peace. We'll see if I feel like doing another review for next episode. Peace out.